We're 289. We just did. We're in the Mechaber. We didn't start the Ramo yet. We didn't start over the Mechaber. Hey, Halacha Hey, page 289. Yaschel hadlik b'rishon b'nera yoser yimini. You start lighting with the candle that's most to the right. That means you put the candle to the right, which is the first candle. You have one candle the first night. The second night, when you add the additional candle, which is adjacent to the first candle, you start lighting with the added candle, which is more to the left. So when you light, you're lighting from left to right. Third night, when you add the third candle, which is adjacent to the first two candles, Yaschil benosef. You begin with the added candle. And again, you go towards the right. And you do the same every night. You start with the additional candle, and you light from left to right. So the bracha is on the additional candle. That's the first candle. Because that candle indicates the burning of the oil the additional night. That reflects the nest, the miracle. As the longer it burnt, that magnified the miracle. Okay? Mishna Berura. You put them in from right to left, and then you light. No, he did that. He says he did it on the first side of the page. He said that. He says the first candle should be to the right. Yeah. The lighting the other way, left to right. But he explains because the lighting you want to indicate it versus the first night. This is the candle you added. No, so why they added? For that reason, to indicate the length. Again, how would you put them in? Tell me. Start left to right? No, because you always start on the right. You always that's a given. You always start on the right. Right. The main point is the miracle. Then you could have done the other way, correct? You could have started the other way, but again, we always start any mitzvah. We always start on the right. No, that's not. That's Hechshemitz. It's a Hechshemitz. Let's say somebody else sets up the candles. It's not a. No, he's just telling you. He's telling you how to arrange the candles. Now that they're arranged in a certain order, now begin lighting. How do you light? He's telling you how to light. No, it's not the mitzvah. It's not the mitzvah. What do you mean, landing? You mean when you put them in? I mean, he's saying, let's say he starts putting in the additional candle. He puts that in first, and he puts them in from left to right. But ultimately, it's at the end of the. No, I understand. No. What he's saying. Let's say you have the menorah. So you say you put in the right, and you add every night going to the left. His son knows we're holding, let's say, by the sixth night. So he'll count 6, and he'll put in 6, 1. He'll count 1 through 6, and put them in from left to right. But in the menorah, it's on the right side of the menorah. You understand? It's irrelevant how you put them in. We're talking about where the candles are situated, right? Correct. That makes no difference. Doesn't make a difference how you put them in. You have a menorah. You have eight insertions where you can put them in, slots. So now, the first night, where do you put it? Of course, you put it all the way on to the far right. Let's say you're holding the 6th night already, and now you want to put in the candles. Or let's say only the 8th night. So is there any problem when you start putting on the candles? You start from left, and you put them all in, insert them from left to right. But factually, now you have the menorah, all the slots are filled with candles. Now you start lighting from left to right. There's nothing wrong with that. No, but it doesn't know. When you're holding by the 8th night, it makes no difference. All the slots are filled. Yeah, but it only has relevance only when you're holding by, when you start lighting, right? I start lighting, I put the one on the far right. Now, the second night I put, let's say I put in 1, 2, and it's not the farthest right. I put it next to the farthest, then I put in the farthest to the right. So I have 2 candles in. So now I have a question. I have 2 candles. The first night, what did you light? You lit the first candle. So why now am I lighting next to the last candle? Why did I light the first candle?
I'm asking a question. Imagine that each of the slots is labeled from right to left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When you put them in, you've got to put them in ascending order and sequential.
As you're putting it in.
I can't put it in.
You can't go
If
4,
I'm in
2, 3, 1.
That's the point.
That's my question.
You can put them in any way you want.
No. You shouldn't do it that way. You shouldn't do that because how does it reflect that you're lighting the additional candle?
Because you put them in the correct, they end up being the correct.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
Because I'm saying, my kid will put them in, they'll put 4, they'll put 2, they'll put 3, they'll put 1, but they're still, you know, to the right, left to the right, they're on the right side.
End up in the right way.
No, because we want ultimately it has to reflect you're lighting the additional candle, right? Maybe the additional candle is the one to the farthest to the right. You have to put in the first night you're right, the farthest right has nothing to do with Hanukkah. That has to do with mitzvah. Anytime we do a mitzvah, it's always whatever's most to the right. That's what we do. So why over here do we light differently? The lighting we don't do that way, right? You're lighting on the left, not on the right. The answer is because you have to reflect the miracle. You understand? So if you're reflecting the miracle, what do? It's what it burnt beyond the first night. So the first night was to the right. It's because I started on the right the first night, I have to go to the left.
How you set it up, it doesn't matter. How it looks when you're lighting it. The lighting.
The same measure. Nobody said measure.
When it's set up, it's supposed to be filled from the right, starting from the right.
Let me ask a question. Let's say I don't know. Wait 1 second. Let's say I don't know how I set it up last night. Somebody shows up on the third night, right? So if you let's say you put all the candles in from left to right. Let's you also put in the candles from left to right, and then you start lighting on the left side. How does that indicate that that's the additional candle? If you put them in 1, 2, 3, right to left, so as you put them in right to left, so start lighting on the farthest right. So why are you starting the last? The answer is because that's the additional candle. That indicates it's the additional candle. But if you put them in from left to right, the last 3 or whatever it is, so how does that reflect your lighting the additional candle? He said the reason why you light always the most left candle is to indicate it's the additional candle. How do you know it's additional?
No, it has to be set up.
No, I know instead, but how do you know that's the additional? How do you know that's the additional? Seemingly, when you put it in, that reflects that it's the additional candle. Because if you started from right to left, why are you lighting the most left candle? Right? Let's say you put the left candle in first. So you left because you put that candle, that's the one you're lighting first. But this makes it more obvious. I'm not saying it's a problem if you put it in haphazardly, as long as you have more right in order. But I think it reflects that it's the additional candle, because why, if you put that in first, why did you light that first? So if you put the right in first, right, the most right, and then, so as you put that in first, light that first, right? You don't. So that indicates, because this is called the additional candle. You can put it wherever you want. Well, you put it. You don't need any slots. Let's say you just melt it onto a tray.
Let's say you actually have a proper slot. Where would you put it? 1 or 3?
I would say you put it in 1, but it's really not ma'akev, because you're really lighting 1 candle. Makes no difference. Makes no difference. You know, it's interesting. We have a principle, even though we have a principle, that it's something that's available to you. You don't pass over to do something else. We discussed the Lechem Mishnah, right? If you could do the mitzvah immediately. So let's say you have the candles burning before you. Now you're righty, and the menorah is right in front of you. Which candle is most available to you? The one to the farthest right. So we're dealing with also a mavir al mitzvah. So where should you begin? With the right. Yet I begin with the left. So that also indicates, makes it obvious, that what? The left has greater value, and I'm permitted to pass the opportunity of lighting what's most right to do the left. Why? And that's the question to ask. The answer is, because that reflects the ness. Because that's the additional night that it burnt, therefore the lighting starts with the left rather than with the right. So there are a number of things. Firstly, you always do the mitzvah, whatever's to the most right. Secondly, you have the principle, mavir al mitzvos. Despite that, I pass on it. That again, that indicates the additional night that it burnt. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow.